Welcome to Biology, my dear student. We are learning chapter 2 biological classification, and in last class we have discussed about classification of kingdom Protista, and in classification of kingdom Protista we have learned about chrysophite, then we have learned about dinoflagellate, then we have learned about euglenoids. So my dear student, today let's learn about number fourth group, slime molds. So my dear student, today we will learn about slime molds and protozoans. Okay, so slime molds. So my dear student, slime molds, it is a group which falls under the kingdom Protista. Most of the members are terrestrial and found in cool, moist and shady places on decaying logs, leaves, bark and humus. Okay, so my dear student, most of the members of slime molds, or we can say most of the slime molds, are terrestrial. They are terrestrial, that means they are found on land. Okay, but they are found in very cool, okay, very moist, okay, shady places like decaying of logs. So any plants, okay, if they are cut off and they are shaded for many days, okay, then you will find that the decaying happening. So there you will find this group or Protista, there is slime molds. Then on leaves also you can find, on the bark of the tree also you can find, in humus also you can find. So my dear student, here you may see two picture, okay, photographs are given, and these photographs indicates slime mold. Okay, so you can see how the slime molds, so one on the you can see on the decaying logs and another on the bark, okay, then how they form this. Okay, now you should always remember that members of kingdom Protista are unicellular, that means they are single celled. Okay, now this you can see they are forming you can say layer. Okay, so these layers are formed of this unicellular Protista, that is slime molds. Okay, slime molds are saprophytic Protistas. Okay, saprophytic means what? They lives on decaying things. Okay, that means the leaves on decaying, you may say, plants. So here mainly they are living on decaying plants, so because of which they are known as saprophytic. Okay, under suitable conditions they form an aggregation called plasmodium. Okay, now under a suitable condition, what they formed a aggregation, that means they all the unicellular, they come together and they form a group. Okay, and this grouping is known as plasmodium, which may grow and spread over several feet. So here in the diagram also you can see that this plasmodium, what happened, they are growing. So this thing will happen when there is a suitable environment, suitable condition, then they will spread very fast and they may spread over several feet. Okay, then my dear student, the fifth group of Protista is protozoan. So protozoan, all the protozoans are heterotrophs and lives as predators or parasites. So my dear student, now we have learned about different groups that are found in Protista. Number one, cryophytes. So all the cryophytes were what? Photosynthetic, isn't it? Then about dinoflagellate also we have seen that they are photosynthetic. Then euglenoid, they were what? They can show photosynthesis also. Again, when the sunlight is absent, they shows heterotrophic nature also. Okay, now this number fourth group, slime molds. Slime molds, they are saprophytic. Okay, they cannot prepare their own food, but they live on the decaying plants part, we may say, or in the humus. Okay, then my dear student, the fifth group, that is the protozoan. So all the protozoans are heterotophics. So they are heterotrophs, or they are heterotropic in nature. That means they cannot prepare their own food. They lives on other plants or other animal for their food. Okay, now they, as a heterotrophs, what happen, they lives as predators. So predators means what, they kills the other and they live. Okay, or they may be parasites. So parasites means what, lives on living thing. Clear? And from that living body, what happen, they will extract the food and they will live in that way. Okay, so protozoans are heterotrophs and they live as predator or parasites. Okay, then my dear student, protozoan are believed to be primitive relatives of animals. So if you want to say that animals, okay, so in animal kingdom at the earlier time, what happened, these protozoans are considered as animal. Okay, they are considered in animal kingdom because they show all the characteristics that are similar to animal kingdom, and because of which they are known as primitive relative of animals. Clear? So their property are somehow very similar to animal, because of which what happened, in animal kingdom they are regarded as the first, you can say first, the smallest lower grade animal. So but now what happened, they are considered in the kingdom Protista. That's the number 5th group. Okay, then my dear student, there are 4 major groups of protozoans. So protozoans are again divided into 4 group. Okay, and these protozoans are very important. You should know, for your any exam you can see questions have been asked from this portion. Okay, so protozoans are mainly divided into how many groups? 4 groups. Okay, number 1 group is known as amoeboid protozoans. So number 1 group is known as amoeboid protozoans. Now, what are the characteristics of this group? Organism live in fresh water, sea water or moist soil. So this amoeboid protozoan you may found in fresh water. Okay, that means any fresh water, or sea water, that means in salty water, or in moist soil. So if the soil is moist, okay, wetted, then also you can find their amoeboid protozoan. They move and capture their prey by putting out pseudopodia. So my dear student, how they move? They move and capture their prey by putting out pseudopodia. Pseudopodia means false feet, we may say, or false foot. Okay, like amoeba, you have seen amoeba, how they capture their prey, or how they inject the food. Okay, cup like shape they make with the help of their okay, so amoeba is also single celled, and you may see there some extension of cell happens and they capture. So that extension we may say pseudopodia. So similarly in amoeboid protozoan also, what they do, they will form that pseudopodia like structure and they will capture the prey whenever the prey comes very near to them. Okay, so for example, my dear student, amoeboid protozoan, one of the most common example is entamoeba. So entamoeba, it is genus and histolytica is its species. But here only about the genus we have mentioned. Okay, so entamoeba, what is its nature? Parasite. That parasite means what? Lives on other body. Okay, lives on other living organism body to extract the food. They cannot prepare their own food, but they lives on other living being to extract the food. So entamoeba, it is a parasite. Okay, my dear student, you may see this is unicellular entamoeba. Okay, so under microscope if you see entamoeba, then you will see in this structure, and this is the diagram of entamoeba histolytica. Okay, and they are also unicellular, single celled. Clear? Now here you may see this pseudopodium, how they extend their body and they form pseudopodium. Okay, so whenever the prey come very near to them, they will make such structure and they will capture the food. Okay, so my dear student, Entamoeba histolytica, it is a parasite. Okay, and parasite, this is a disease causing pathogen in human being. Okay, and there is some of the disease, okay, that is amoeboid dysentery, okay, in human being. It is mainly because of this Entamoeba histolytica. So Entamoeba histolytica, we may consider it as a pathogen in human body. Okay, that means disease causing microorganism. Okay, disease causing protozoa. Clear? So this is the structure of that Entamoeba. Clear? I hope that you have understood. So amoeboid, protozoan, these are some character and this is an example. Clear? Now my dear student, next number 2 is flagellated protozoan. So flagellated protozoan means from their name itself, flagella is there. That means in this group the protozoan will possess flagella. That means whip-like structure. Clear? Now, what are their character? They may be free living. That means anywhere they may move, or parasitic. Parasitic means what? Lives on other body. So, whenever you will find that protozoan are parasitic, okay, not only protozoan, microorganism are parasite. That means they are mostly disease causing microorganism. Clear? So, this flagellated protozoan, these are free living or parasitic. Okay, then they have flagella. So my dear student, here you may see in the diagram flagella that at the whip like structure you may see, okay, that thread like structure. So this is free flagellum. So in diagram also it is labeled, you can see free flagellum. So this, so in flagellated protozoan, flagellum will be there. Okay, then the parasitic forms cause diseases such as sleeping sickness. So my dear student, this parasitic form of this flagellated protozoan causes sleeping sickness. Okay, and this sleeping sickness is caused by trypanosoma. So this is trypanosoma brucei, and flagellated protozoan which causes sleeping sickness. So sleeping sickness, it is a kind of disease that is found in human being. Okay, and this disease is because of what? Trypanosoma. So here you may see trypanosoma, one diagram labeled with, and another diagram you may see when trypanosoma they travel in blood stream. So how they look. Clear? So these are flagellated protozoan. So my dear student, here we have seen that protozoan, they are harmful to us, isn't it? They are harmful to us. We may see that different groups are harmful to us. So why we must learn this protista? Have you got it? Why we are learning protista? Because we must be aware that who is helpful to us, who is useful to us, and who is harmful to us. So to identify this, because of which we are learning all this organism. Clear? Okay. Then my dear student, third group of protozoan is ciliated protozoan. So from their name itself, ciliated, that means cilia will be present in this group of protozoa. Aquatic, actively moving organism because of the presence of thousands of cilia in their body. So my dear student, these ciliated protozoans are mainly aquatic, that means they live in water, and they are actively moving organism because of the presence of thousands of cilia in their body. And one of the most common example is paramecium. So my dear student, this is the diagram of paramecium, and you may see that around their body numerous cilia are present, isn't it? So this is the example of ciliated protozoan, that is paramecium. Okay, then my dear student, number fourth group is sporozoans. So sporozoans are the fourth group of protozoa. Okay. My dear student, organisms have an infectious spore-like stage in their life cycle. So my dear student, in sporozoans, what happens? Organisms have an infectious spore-like stage in their life cycle. So they in their life cycle, you will find that one stage will be infectious. So in sporozoan, this is the special character they possess, that in their life cycle, okay, one stage of the life cycle will be infectious. That means they will cause infection. Okay. An example is Plasmodium. So my dear student, here you may see in diagram, this is Plasmodium. And what is Plasmodium? It is a malaria parasite. That means in human being, we hear that people are suffering from malaria fever. So this malaria fever is due to what? Plasmodium. Sometimes we may think that malaria is due to mosquito, isn't it? But my dear student, you should be very clear that malaria is caused by Plasmodium, and that mosquito is just a vector. Okay, mosquito is just carrying that Plasmodium to human body. Mosquito work is to, okay, mosquito is acting as a vector, as a carrier, that that mosquito is carrying Plasmodium from one place to human body. Okay, so mosquitoes are the carrier, because of which you will hear that if malaria parasite, okay, that a carrier is mosquito. So if mosquitoes are killed, then you will find that malaria, okay, this disease cannot spread. Why we are saying that if mosquito is absent, that malaria cannot spread, okay, or it cannot move from one place to another, because this Plasmodium, okay, itself cannot come to human body. It required a carrier, and that carrier is the mosquito. Okay, so in second year, okay, in class 12, you will learn details about malaria disease. Okay, and that time you will come to know that how these things are happening in human. Okay, and among human population, these things are spreading from one place to another. Okay, from one person to another. So my dear student, this is sporozoan. Okay, so here also what happened, this Plasmodium, in its life cycle, you will find that one stage is infectious, and if that infectious stage reaches human body, then only what happen, malaria fever is seen. So Plasmodium, malaria parasite, which causes malaria, a disease which has a staggering effect on human population. Okay, so we know that how much dangerous this disease. Okay, now as in medical science, treatment is possible. Okay, medicines are there. So now we are dependent on that. But then also what happened, this Plasmodium, these sporozoans, if they are controlled, then what happened, human will be safe from that disease, isn't it? So now we came to know that how such a small unicellular, so this Plasmodium is also unicellular. Okay, so this such a small unicellular organism is creating such a disturbance in human body, because of which we are learning Protista. Okay, so my dear student, with this kingdom Protista we have completed. Okay, so in next class we will study about the third kingdom, kingdom Fungi. Okay, so thank you and have a great day.